Hello! Hello and welcome to Cat Chat. Okay, so I wanted to talk about film and movies today for two, maybe three reasons. So I graduated from CU Boulder with a film degree in spring of 2013, and I want to write and direct my own movies. So I moved to Hollywood, California, February 2014, and I've been working ever since as a waitress to pay rent and stay out here and work on films. But I don't ever do any films. I write, but it's mostly up here and here, but never here. And I started my YouTube, but I'm still figuring out what I want to do with it. I don't know yet what, I'm not doing any like film stuff, it's more vloggy type things. Something that really inspired me this week, I love the YouTuber Ashley Mardell. She put up a video this week. She does a lot of things that are vloggy, but then she also does more like art pieces. And she did this one this week that was called Proposing to My Girlfriend. And she did exactly what I want to do with film. Like I was watching, it's a lot of like stop motion things. You should watch it, I'm gonna link to it. But it just was so beautiful, and I love, love, love that sort of media where it's not CGI and it's a lot of things that anyone could do at home, and it feels to me like when you're a child and you're playing. That's how a child's imagination is, and that's what I so love about film. I don't know, it just really provoked me to want to get back to doing more of that kind of stop motion-y stuff, because most of what I did in college was stop motion with my penguins. I'd have them like march around the house, or I would do things with like little sea animals that I had, or just I miss that a lot. Number two was that I got to go to Warner Brothers Studios for the first time ever. I passed it in Burbank all the time, and I get to see all the posters outside. And yesterday I actually got to go into the back lot and see everything, and it was so cool. I worked on a film last July called Level Up with some NYFA students, and which is New York Film Academy, and I also worked on a film called Escape in August or September, and so both of those films had their screening last night, and I got to go to the back lot of Warner Brothers to see them, which was such a cool experience. I will never be too cool to be like, this is awesome, they filmed this show here and that show here. And each soundstage has written on there what feature was done there. It's so awesome, and I geek out about that film stuff. So I've seen many student films before, and they're all very subpar or lacking. I watched 6 films last night, and I was so inspired. It just reminded me why I love film. I was so pleased with the films I worked on, because you see a script and you see an idea of, you know, how it is on set, but until you actually see it on the screen, it's so different. There was one film that I really loved in particular, and it was just this couple, and they were sort of fighting, and it's so unlike anything I've experienced. Like I've never had a relationship where we like hit each other and, you know, all that kind of like, not really into that, but it was so compelling to watch these characters just make up and fight and make up, but it was just so natural, like it conveyed so much without words, and I was just so struck by all the soul that was in that film. I wasn't even caring where the story was going, I was just enjoying watching them on screen. Like I was like, I could watch so much of them just living. Another film I really loved, she filmed in Ireland, and it was so gorgeous. I mean, this should have been a feature-length film. It was stunning. But it was a student film, and she just went out and got a crew and did it. I'm like, why am I not doing that? I don't know, you guys. What is your passion? Do you dance? Do you sing? What makes you feel so alive? Like when I was watching these films last night, I just kept thinking, I'm home. And when I watch a movie I've seen before, it's like hanging out with an old friend. I just cannot fathom a life where I'm not involved in some way on film, and I feel like I've strayed from that lately, but I have to get back in any capacity. It's just life affirming for me. The only other place where I feel that passion and at-homeness and complete is when I'm at the beach. Like when I'm at the coast, my soul is on fire. I just exist in that time only. So item number 3, last night I watched this movie called John Dies at the End. It was so bizarrely fantastic, and it was very confusing at times, but you just have to like accept it and just keep watching it. I don't want to give anything away. It was just this whole fantastic creative world, and it was just perfect. I don't know, it's hard for me to even sum up the way I feel when I'm watching a movie like that. But it's like, I don't know, you learn to watch films differently. I don't know, sometimes you feel like you're the only one who feels a certain way, and when you watch a film and you're like, somebody else feels this way, thinks this way, and, you know, breathed that into creation. And you're like, whatever it is that I have creatively, somebody else will relate with and connect to. So I'm house sitting today, and I looked at their bookshelf, and the first book that I see on the shelf is John Dies at the End. And they have a thing in that movie where he's talking about one of the like alien monster sort of creatures says, you know when you hear a word for the first time, you're gonna hear that word again in 24 hours. And that keeps coming up where they talk about how like you'll hear a phrase again. And so isn't that weird that I saw that on the shelf today? My fortune cookie last night said, listen to everyone, ideas are everywhere. Something like that. Like my fortune cookie said something about how just be very like in tune with messages you're getting. I was like, thanks fortune cookie. But isn't that weird? I feel like all these things are telling me that now is the time to jump into creative land where it's very scary, but you have to just get through it and explore and put something together. And, you know, I keep thinking I should just settle and do something else, but nothing makes me feel that way. It's hard and it's tiring and it's scary to do a film, but I don't know, right now I feel like a lot of messages telling me to get back to it. So that's all I have to say about that. In other news, can you tell I'm really excited about my new shirt? The funny thing is I have to keep adjusting it because I don't want it to just say no homo. It's supposed to say no homophobia. So I'm like, I hope they can read the phobia part. Anyways. Meow, 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 meow.